All right, so anytime you have fractions, so this one is going to be a video over how do you get rid of the fractions. So if you have two or more, now if you have one, you probably just want to work with it, but you're still welcome to do this. You can multiply, you just have one, you just multiply the entire equation by whatever the denominator is, which is a 3 in this case. But if you have two, what you're going to do is you're going to multiply by the least common multiple, which would be the least common denominator. Like you pretend like you're finding the denominator that they both would divide evenly into, and that would be 9 in this case. But if for some reason you don't do that, you don't like that, you can just do 3 times 9, which is 27, and use 27. It just gives you a bigger number, but it doesn't matter. You'll have calculators. So I am going to use 9, but you're more than welcome to use 27, and you'll get the same answer. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 9. Now, when I'm multiplying the left side by 9, I'm pretty much distributing. Do not leave off the negative 2r just because it does not have a fraction. It still will be multiplied. When you multiply in an equation, every single term in the equation has to get it. Okay, there is a couple of exceptions, and that's when you have parentheses involved, but otherwise, for the most part, everything will get that. So 9 times negative 5 over 3. If you don't have a calculator at home that'll do that, you can use Desmos. So 9 times negative 5, this technically is a cross cancel. So 3 goes into 9 3 times, and 3 times negative 5 is negative 15r. So that's how you can do that in your head. But anyways, otherwise you would just do 9 times negative 5 thirds, and the calculator is going to tell you negative 15. Bring down the r. And don't forget, you do have to do the 9 times the negative 2. So that's negative 18r. All right, so all they do is 9 times this, wrote it down. Now I'm going to do 9 times negative 11 ninths, which is this, a negative 11. And now I'm ready to go ahead and combine like terms. They both have an r, so it's negative 33r equals a negative 11. You will always divide by the number with the variable, even though this number happens to be bigger. So that means we're going to get a fractional answer, which is fine. Now, if you don't know how to get a fraction in your calculator, in our calculators, you'll hit math, enter, and then enter. In the Desmos, there's a little button by the answer. So the answer should look like this. There's a little button by the answer that looks like this. You'll click that button and it'll give you a fraction of it. It's got a box on top of a box. What happens if you have more than just 2 fractions? So let's look at this one with 3 fractions. So I do need to know what the least common multiple between all these are, which would be 3, 2, and 6. They all will divide evenly into 6. So 6 would be the number I'll use. Now, again, if for some reason you don't want to do that, you just need to multiply by a number, you can do 3 times 2 times 6, and that number will always work. Okay, so 3 times 2 times 6 is 36, and then you would just multiply all terms by 36, and that will also get rid of the fractions. I am going to use 6 because it's smaller, and I'm trying to do this in my head. I'm not using a calculator. All right, so 6 times negative 2, then 6 times 1/3, then I'm going to do 6 times negative 5 over 2. Again, notice how I pick up the negative as I do this. So 6 times negative 2, negative 12r. 6 times 1/3, positive 2. 6 times negative 5 over 3 is a negative 15r. Bring down the equals. 6 times negative 25 over 6 will be a negative 25. So I'm just double checking my numbers because I did do that in my head, so I should be good. All right, now on the left side, I do have like terms. I have a like term here and a like term here. So I same side of the equal sign, use same signs. So negative 12 minus 15 is going to be a negative 27r. Bring down what I haven't used, which is the plus 2, the equals, and the negative 25. Now you have a two-step equation. We've done these lots of times. Find the variable, cover it. Bring down what's under your finger. Notice I didn't do the math yet. I'm now going to bring down the answer. If you do the math first, now you're trying to figure out where to place this. Bring it down, bring your equals, and then when you do the math, you know where to put it. All right, the last step is always to divide by the number with the variable. So in this case, it will be a 27 divided by 27, or negative 27 divided by negative 27, and r will equal 1. All right. If you happen to have 2 of the same denominators, okay, so in this case, just in case you don't know, the least common one is 4, okay, because the 2 divides into 4 and 4 divides into 4. But if you have 2 of them, when you're doing just to multiply them and get the right answer, and I will go ahead and do that with this one. So let's just say we don't know that 4 is the number we should use. We don't know that 2 goes into 4, so does 4. And you can just do 2 times 4. You don't want to do 2 times 4 and 4 because we're just looking for the number that both a 2 and a 4 will go into, so you don't need to do the number if it repeats. Okay, so I'll just do 2 and 4. So I'm going to multiply both sides, and I'm going to go ahead and use 8 this time for y'all. So 2 times 4 is 8. You could use 4 and check to see if we get the same answer. You will. All right, so 8 times 3 over 4, that should be 6x. Plus, and then I'm going to do 8 times 3 over 2, and that should be 12x. And that will equal 18. Now, double check my math, make sure I'm doing this right. So I'll just let you know I did 2 times 3 to get that. That goes into that 4, so 4 times 3 is 12, and that goes in the twice, so 2 times 9. So I'm pretty sure I'm right. Double check. 6x plus 12x, these are both like terms. So I have 18x equals 18. Divide by the number with the variable. And x equals 1. So after you get rid of your fractions, they become pretty easy problems. All right, last one. We're going to add 4. Let's have 4 fractions here. All right, let me get the number problem. It doesn't matter what number it is. All right, so I have a negative 5 over 2, 4/3, 2/3, and a 13/4. Sorry. A is the only thing that's a variable here. Everything else is just a number. And here's my equal sign. I do want to get rid of them. So I could do 2 times 3 times 4. Again, I don't have to do the doubles. And that will work. So I'll go ahead and use that. It's not going to matter. Technically, 12 would be the best number, but I am going to do 2 times 3, which is 6, and 6 times 4 is 24. So let's go ahead and multiply both sides by 24. I may have to stop for a minute and use a calculator since I am using a larger number there. Let me grab it out in case I do need it. All right, so I am going to go ahead and do, sorry, you can't see my 24 as well as I thought. All right, so we'll do 24 times negative 5 over 2. And I believe it's negative 60, but we're just going to double check. Yep. And it's negative, so it's negative 60a. And now I'm going to do 24 times 4/3. So that should probably be a positive 32. But again, I'm going to double check. Yep. And then 24 times 2/3 should be 16. Put your equals. And then 24 divided by 4 is 6, and 6 times 13 is what I'm doing there, if you're wondering. So let's do it again. Just 13 times 24 divided by 4. Should be 70. Yep. All right, so now I'm ready to do my like terms on the left side. That's those two. So I'm going to do 32 plus 16. Bring down my negative 60a. Plus that added together is 48 equals 78. You will now get rid of the 48 on both sides. So subtract 48 from both sides. And I'm left with the negative 60a equal to 30. Divide both sides by the number with the variable. And I've run out of paper, so I am going to go over to the side. So I'm just going to bring that up, all right, and rewrite it. So that's going to be negative 60a equals 30. I'm going to divide by the number with the variable. And again, pay attention because it may or may not be a fraction. All right, so if you don't know what 30 divided by negative 60 is, you need to grab a calculator. That is going to be a negative half. All right, so hopefully this helps. Try to do 3 of the problems. Remember, you're not doing all of them. You pick 3 of them out. You will take a picture of them and send them to me. If you can't send them to me on the actual Google Classroom, you can always send it to me by Remind. All right, hope this